On top of just the energy, though, there's also vitamins, sometimes juice, or in the case of something like Prime, extra ingredients like coconut water that are supposed to make them healthier. Is that true? Is it not? We're going to talk about that after the taste test portion. All the energy drinks that we're consuming today will have basically 4 things in common. They're all going to start with water, they're going to contain some type of sweetener, some type of vitamin blend, and of course, crushing amounts of caffeine. First, we're going to find out which one tastes the best, and then we're going to size them up and see how they compare based on the chemistry of their stimulant formulas. So round number 1, we've got ourselves what we're dubbing the original flavors of each of these energy drinks. Cheers. Ah, yes. The flavor of synthetic berry.
Yeah, it's Warhead's brand, I think.
Smoother. Much smoother. Round number 3. Here we go.
Prime, Red Bull.
Ew. Bing.
This reads more like Hawaiian Punch to me.
All right.
Okay.
5.
Oh, we're back to carbonation. Do you have a winner? Is that the goal here?
Yeah.
The winner?
Yeah, the winner. The losers are us, I feel like. Next up, the balloon round.
Yeah. So what I think they're doing is they're changing flavors. So it's obviously very different. When you change flavors, everything tastes different. And flavors taste different, and everyone's got a different opinion on different flavors. Like, I know KSI likes all the flavors of Prime except for grape because he just doesn't like grape flavor.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's literally why I think it's a bit ridiculous to change the flavors.
Great memory. Alright. Blue round?
Yep.
Joining me on the couch is actually new theorist face, Rachel.
Sorry, number 4 is
Hello,
the
happy to be here.
Let's try some blue flavor, shall we?
I really don't like this. I don't like this first one at all.
This one is the most synthetic of
Yeah.
all of them. Definitely the least blue. All right, next up is the orange round, and we've got ourselves Josiah on the couch.
I'm excited to be back for some Prime.
That's so good.
Oh, that's really good.
Oh man, that is monster results from Monster. This is, hey,
Yeah,
we
so
took the
changing
orange
flavors,
flavor,
which-
filtered it
so it
through like a
tastes
coffee
different.
strainer,
So
and then we
it's
mixed it with like water from that like old house down the street. That was an odd journey. This round is citrus flavor. Joined on the couch by Jason. Bing, bing. Here we go.
You're just drinking?
As opposed to what?
You gotta walk
Oh,
it?
it's got a little sippy hole.
Citrus,
You
I
can
think, is
put your
alright.
nose up to that
Yeah.
and suck.
That's what I do with Greg's coffee.
Yeah, spoiler alert, slightly fizzier lemonade. Next up, round red with my special guest, Santi. Hello.
This should be
Hey,
chocolate
so this
couch.
is another new face on
Yeah.
the Fierce Couch. You are also the Food
Yeah,
Theory
chocolate
Creative
couch.
Director.
I am indeed.
What's your experience with energy drinks?
You know, not much. My body is my temple, so I try not to ransack it with chemicals.
Oh, wow, that is a
Nah.
punch in the face.
If this one was a gentle, like, caress, if that, and here just comes the
Conclusion.
I am seeing all the universe right now. Oh, the caffeine is surging through my veins.
Yeah, she've done
My
it.
head is like a rave party, and I'm the
You
only
did call him an idiot.
I just want to take a nap.
Poor man.
That is the antithesis of what this episode was supposed to do. I just want to
He's
sleep
a
now.
36-year-old who's stupider than a...
So what did we learn here today? Well, one thing is immediately clear. Monster crushed the competition. It won 3 out of our 5 flavor categories and was a top contender in pretty much the other 2. Meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, oh boy, Red Bull. It might give you wings, but it's not giving you a whole lot of flavor. This thing sucked. It was
because
dead
There
last
you
in
go.
every-
Because
I told
different
ya.
flavours taste different.
Yeah, that's about right.
It's as simple as that. Different flavours taste different. That's the point of them being flavoured. So
Yeah,
each
yeah.
one tastes different. That's the point of a flavour.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So
But-
it's, I would give everyone the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely remember Red Bull being at the bottom. So that's
category.
good. I
You
was
might have been the
correct.
first, but you also happen to be the worst. Now, as far as Prime goes, our topic of the day, across the board, pretty solid. Not necessarily topping out every single category, but very consistently
What I
in the
find
top
weird is how
2.
in the
So,
hydration and the energy, both times they focused on blue raspberry,
Yeah.
which I find a little bit weird.
Not to mention, it was a fake bottle.
really good.
In
but,
hydration,
that's only
majority were fake.
Yeah.
part of our equation here. We still have to look at the amount of energy being delivered as well as the crash. And for that, we have to go to our other set of data. Thanks for the handoff there, Live Action Me. Let's analyze the results, shall we? To begin, the one thing that everyone agreed to was that Red Bull was universally the absolute worst.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's weird.
I don't like that.
Oh, weird.
I don't like that.
What is this?
I personally quite like Red Bull.
It's not nice.
Shut up! You don't drink that.
I simply ate once.
I swear it's
Oh,
like a
she offered
coffee
me some. I
aftertaste
was
of like a
like,
Pepto or a Necco wafer.
was
Across
literally 7
every
and
flavor
he
offered
category,
me
it
some.
was always in the
Being
bottom.
7, I didn't
So
know
if you're
what
looking for
was
flavor,
drink it.
just choose literally any other drink. And with that, we cross Red Bull off a potential sponsors list on the Theorist office wall. So while the worst across all the categories were very clear, the taste test reactions were much more split when it came to top contenders. Sure, within each individual category, the two people testing each color almost always agreed on the best brand, but each color was coming from a wildly different best brand. When it did come to the top contenders, there were two clear favorites. Both Monster and Prime were voted best in class 4 times each. So when it comes to flavor alone, they were our two clear leaders. And again, this mirrors exactly what we found last time in our hydration episode. Prime, across the board, is just strong when it comes to flavor. Where it struggled last time, though, was with the science. So from here on out, we're going to be talking about how the ingredients in all of these drinks stack up next to it.
It said it failed with the science, but actually, he's got this science completely the wrong way around. You want potassium. Potassium carries a lot of energy, basically. So, like I was saying earlier, electrons, stuff like that, which is what you need. You need the positive ones, which is what potassium carries to basically keep going, which is the point of a sports or energy drink.
Each other, and as a final cherry on top, we're going to look at the survey data from our team, who we asked to evaluate each drink for its energy effectiveness and the amount of crash at the end of the day. So Logan, you might have won the flavor round, but we're about to find out how you stack up to some serious stimulant science. The first thing we need to do is talk about the energy component of all energy drinks. Every single one of the drinks that we tasted had caffeine as a common ingredient, but interestingly, not all caffeine is created equally. There are actually several
There are
types of
different types
caffeine.
of caffeine.
Damn straight. Hang on.
There's
Different
healthy
energy.
kinds, unhealthy kinds.
Wait, hold on.
Drinks, but we often pick them off the shelves not understanding what those differences are.
Yeah.
Usually when we think of caffeine, we think of coffee, but caffeine sources vary quite a bit aside from just the coffee bean. Caffeine can also come from guarana, a fruit native to the Amazon basin which has anywhere between 3 to 4 times the amount of caffeine in its seeds than coffee. Guarana is
Last
also
I
likely
checked,
to
it was
digest
7 to 9 times more, but
But
it's not far off.
wise words from a 12-year-old.
slower, thereby releasing
I
caffeine more
didn't say
slowly
that.
into the body. That leads to
Uh.
fewer rapid jitters and more sustained awake feelings throughout the day.
So where
Taurine
really
is another
so it's where all the energy and all the caffeine is giving all those
Atoms.
also likely to digest
atoms
slower,
is
thereby releasing
nothing
caffeine
close.
more
Right.
slowly into the body. That leads to fewer rapid jitters and more sustained awake feelings throughout the day.
Yeah.
So it's like all that energy. What it does is it's like in a liquid or in a solid rather. Where a liquid. It's where like if you have like a solid that's still kind of dewy like jelly. If you touch it, the atoms in it vibrate because they can't move because they're still squished together so much, but they vibrate where they're trying to move, and that's basically what all that energy does inside of you, pretty much, which is why you get jitters and stuff.
Taurine is another stimulant in energy drinks, one that was originally rumored to come from bull semen. Yep, you heard that one right, but congratulations to bulls and to us, this is not actually true. It actually originated from their bile. Nowadays, it's mostly
It's
synthetically
like
made.
grinded up bio. It's like in jelly. So in jelly, I don't know if you know, but they grind up the bones of goats and sheep and stuff like that. So they grind them up, and then they kind of and they compress it, and then turn it into like this powder. And then when they mix it in with the jelly mix, so that's how they make the powder. So do you ever buy like powder that you put in a bowl and then you mix with warm water to make jelly? The powder is actually made up of grinded bones from sheep and goats and animals like that. So that is kind of what that is, basically.
Lovely. Thank you. Okay, great.
Never eat jelly again, I
We've just eaten dinner, mate. I don't want to be sick.
Fun little fact there. Woo! Bull bile goes down easy. That said, our body actually makes its own taurine in high concentrations in our brain, heart, and muscles. Taurine is not the same as caffeine, but there is some tenuous research out there that says taking additional taurine supposedly boosts energy and improves athletic and mental performance. Not great, really well-founded research, but it is out there. And finally, one additional
It's kind of right, but kind of not. It's mostly not right, but there are, if you really go down deep into the context, then you might get a few bits that are right, but the majority of that is wrong. So it's Mostly wrong, but a little bit right.
Component in lots of energy blends is the amino acid L-carnitine, which helps the body turn fat into energy. Now, your body usually makes all the carnitine it needs, but this stuff is marketed as being sciencey, and maybe it helps you to lose weight. None of that is actually well supported with research, but, it is something that they say in the marketing. So, which energy is in which of these drinks, and what's that going to tell us about how it's going to act on our body? Of the drinks we tested, caffeine ranged from 114 milligrams with Red Bull to a whopping 200 milligrams in Prime, Ghost, and Fast Twitch, all of whom compete closely for the esports market of up-all-night gamers and interneters. Compared to those astronomical numbers, Monster sat in the middle there with 160 milligrams per can. Off the bat, it seems like if you're just going for pure caffeine amount and taste alone, Prime is going to be your answer. But that's not the end of the story. Taking a look deeper, we can actually see that the
Prime's
energy
also a lot
blends in these
healthier.
drinks
Got
vary a
healthy
lot
caffeine.
to give you, at least theoretically, a totally different experience that might make you reconsider whether you're going with your preferred flavor or your body's preferred source of energy. Let's start off with the simplest drink from our test group, Fast Twitch. With 5 calories, 200 milligrams of caffeine, and 0 sugar, Gatorade opts out of peddling long scientific sounding names or herbs that barely anyone's ever heard of, and instead just delivers a quick shot of caffeine mixed with a lot of juice concentrate. Don't worry, it actually contains 0% real juice. And don't you for a second think that the
I
blatant
like
ripoff of the
hydration.
FaZe Clan logo there has gone unnoticed.
Whoops.
Prime hydration does have
Gatorade, tisk
10%
tisk.
juice, I think.
I'm watching you.
Yeah.
So, how did our team respond to this one in our survey for the week? Well, according to the team, who took it as their primary kick of caffeine in the middle of the day, FaZe Twitch, sorry, now I'm going to be messing that one up all day, Fast Twitch took a little bit longer to kick in with milder effects than the others, thereby making it seem less like a full-on energy drink and more like a caffeinated version of the original Gatorade with less tasty flavors. Overall, it's not exciting, not offensive, kind of the way it came out in the flavor test. The bottom line here is that you're pretty safe with this stuff, but if you have a paper due in 6 hours and it's already 2 a.m., this ain't gonna be moving any mountains for you. Next up is Red Bull, our universally hated taste test loser, boasting 114 milligrams of caffeine per 12-ounce can, and also coming in at 160 calories because it's one of our fully sugared options. Now, Red Bull lists taurine as one of its ingredients. I know what you're thinking, taurine, Red Bull, Taurus means bull. It's all cutesy and clever marketing, right? To which I say, no, actually, Red Bull does not actually get its name from the thematically appropriate ingredient. That would have been too smart for them. Like everything with Red Bull in this episode, it is just lackluster and underwhelming. As we talked about before, taurine sounds exciting on the label, but there's almost nothing definitive behind it, and your body produces plenty of its own taurine practically all the time. In our in-house tests with our team members, everyone who tested one of these things had a distinctive crash every single time. Red Bull might give you wings, but it's also not giving you
They're all different flavors. Like, just
a parachute when you come down off its high.
I don't think it matters. I think but does it not sometimes depend on not just the flavour, but also does it not change anything? But like with different flavours, does it have to change a statistic?
So it's got like all the vitamins, so they've put different vitamins in each flavour, which mix together differently to make the flavours, which means that they're only the things they need rather than having extra add-ins like sugar, all that kind of other stuff. And it just comes from the vitamins in it, so obviously our bottles are empty because we drank them, but because that's...
What?
Because that's just how it is. The vitamins are mixed differently. They've got different vitamins in them, which actually means that each prime has different vitamins in it, making it each one of them very different, not just flavour, but in like the way, obviously each vitamin does something different. And with that, it just kind of changes the effect of each one. Some of them will be stronger than others because of the different vitamins mixed together.
So it does make a difference.
Yeah, it changes
Statistics.
Statistics entirely.
Across the board, Red Bull was so far at the bottom of the barrel across all 3 of our tests, and I'm just kicking it straight out of this episode. Get out of here, Red Bull. Go. On to our top 2 flavor contenders,
Here we go.
Monster and Prime, who might have both scored highly on the taste test, but come at their formulations from vastly different angles. Prime, with its 200 milligrams of caffeine, is supposed to be the star of our show. It only has 10 calories with its top-tier levels of caffeine, making it the most attractive choice. And like its less twitchy cousins over in the hydration line, Prime Energy also is flavored with coconut water, which is acting as part of the sweetener here. Because this is a natural ingredient that people use all the time, this is supposed to come off as healthy or clean, unlike all the other rival...
So with coconut water, it is... Obviously you need water in it, but instead of using normal water, a lot of brands, this is almost every brand I know, uses coconut water because it's natural, it's considered, like I said, it's considered a lot healthier. And also it's meant to help, and also it carries a lot of vitamins and stuff like that.
Nasty chemicals. But taking a closer look at the nutrition facts here shows
Here
us
we
that
go.
the coconut water is from concentrate, which unfortunately changes the entire ball game. It turns out the process of concentrating the water to a syrup actually damages the nutrients and enzymes that would be healthy
That's
to
not
consume,
true.
meaning that
It makes it stronger, so it makes it like, so say you've got, you know, like those little wax things you put over a candle and they melt. But it's kind of like them. You've done it reversed in a way, so you got it from melted, and then you're making it stronger again. Actually, it doesn't damage it. Sure, it does weaken it, but it barely does. It just, so it weakens it just very slightly. However, so it makes it do its job. So it makes it do its thing slightly less better than it would, but barely anything at all.
theory, in food theory, this would be a great differentiator for Prime, and that's how they've marketed it. Not only is this drink giving you the energy, but it's also helping to repair your muscles while you're working out with every sip. It is a great gimmick. Unfortunately, that's all it is. The research on BCAAs from supplements versus regular food in your diet is still out, and when people do supplement their diets with BCAAs, the dosages look very different from what you're getting in a can of Prime. Prime has roughly 123 milligrams of BCAAs. Compare that to all the research studies, which are using 5 to 10 grams.
Okay, so BCAAs, they carry one vitamin, only one type of vitamin, generally really strong, but only one type, which every vitamin does one job on its own and that's it. But then when it comes to energy drinks, where they have like, it obviously what I showed you earlier with the hydration bottle, it's in both hydration and energy. Obviously, I just don't have an energy bottle. So in BCAAs, it only has one specific vitamin, but in energy drinks they have multiple which work together. It has multiple different, and they react together to be more powerful. But BCAAs, where they're only one of them, where it's only one vitamin in each thing, they think it's the most powerful vitamin, but it's even more. But actually, an energy drink is more powerful because it's got everything together in one, meaning that they're all working together to make something even stronger. So BCAAs in this scenario would actually not be as effective as an energy drink.
BCAAs. I'll spare you that conversion there, friendos. That is 5 to 10,000 milligrams compared to Prime's 123. That means that to get a real dosage of BCAA, you'd have to consume between 40 and 50 cans worth of Prime, which, just so you know, would contain 8,000 milligrams of caffeine.
Come on then, Einstein. What's the math for that?
It would have to be roughly. We'll get that, hang on.
Give it a minute. No pressure, but hurry up.
You don't think I'm trying? If you be quiet, we'll go a lot quicker. Okay, so one BCAA is the equivalent of roughly about 1/10 of a can, roughly, of an energy drink. So
Yeah?
that's what I've got in my math anyways.
It's, just so you know, would contain 8,000 milligrams of caffeine, likely more than enough to kill you a couple times over.
How are you thinking of this video at the moment?
This one has more correct stuff than the hydration video did.
Just like we saw over on the hydration side, Prime isn't lying to you about what's in it, but the ingredients that are here are either ones that look healthy and aren't, or are ones that are so badly proportioned that they're basically negligible to your body. Now,
That's
let's
all
compare
the opposite, basically. That's literally the opposite.
all of this to Monster, which, by my assumption, has always been the most chemically sounding of the brands. Call me crazy, but branding that has toxic green gamer color just doesn't look healthy for my body. And when it does come to health, Monster isn't looking strong out of the gate. It has 230 calories per 16-ounce can and 160 milligrams of
So you'll be
caffeine.
better
That
off with a Prime over Monster.
an electrifying 58 grams of sugar per can, nearly twice the American Heart Association's recommended amount of 36 grams of sugar for an entire day. For the sake of fairness, I'll definitely call out the fact that Monster has 0 sugar variants, one of which actually won our blue round. But since each flavor varies the recipe a bit, I'm just gonna be sticking to the original beast despite it having the worst taste.
It's like a soapy cotton candy on the back end.
If the sugar doesn't have you at a full stop though, it's worth noting that things get interesting once you start looking at the energy blend of Monster itself. One of the most prominent ingredients in its energy blend is Panic's ginseng extract, which comes from a plant commonly found in Korea, China, and Siberia. Though it might not boost energy or
And Africa.
And generally Malaysia.
improve cognitive performance and make you feel more alert in the right dosages. And while Monster might not reach the 200 milligram optimal dose that we see in the research, at 82 milligrams, it's certainly in the ballpark. And it's only one of 2 drinks in the entire field to contain it. It also uses guarana in its energy blend, something that no other drink in our lineup lists, despite it being one of the few
It's
ingredients
very
shown to
rarely in drinks, honestly.
sustained release of energy. The major source of caffeine here is still likely synthetic, but if synthetic caffeine acts as the initial boost and is then complemented later by the guarana and ginseng to give you a longer lasting feeling of alertness and energy, well, that would make it a much more well-rounded drink than any of the others in the competition so
They
far.
don't
And
use,
this
just a point out, they don't use either of them things in Prime.
No, they don't.
No.
Not from what we've seen. Let alone in the energy drink.
No, they don't
Yeah.
in hydration or energy.
This is exactly what we wound up seeing in the data. Our team reported a high level of alertness for multiple hours while drinking Monster, and while they did report crashes, these didn't hit until 4 to 5 hours later. Most importantly of all, though, it didn't leave
Probably
them
because
feeling
they tried so many energy drinks at once and drank them all so quick.
jittery, like a lot of the other drinks in the lineup. So from a health perspective, Monster provides an interesting trade-off. If you're searching for an energy drink and you're not worried about ingesting a ton of sugar, or if you're comfortable with the non-sugar variants, this could be an excellent choice for you. But if sugar is in fact high on your no-no list, you're going to want to look elsewhere. Between Prime and Monster, our top 2 flavor contenders, Monster is definitely the better energy blend. It also has the less misleading of the 2 labels. However, it's also the less healthy option because of that huge volume of sugar. So now the question is this the best that we can do? If we're trying to find the best energy blend with no sugary trade-off, is there any other option out there that could possibly give us the best of both worlds? Turns out the answer is yes. Our extremely unexpected champion when it comes to the
Wanna guess
actual
it?
energy drink ingredients is...
Do you want to guess it?
Well,
After all that?
from what I've worked out, my calculations would go to Prime, but this has been wrong about majority of the things here, so probably not Prime.
Ghost? No, that's the one that actively flavored itself like a Sour Patch Kid. It's gotta be pure sugar and synthetics, right? No, Ghost is actually shockingly good. Coming in with only 5 calories and a whopping 200 milligrams of caffeine in a 16-ounce can, Ghost gives you the highest proportion of caffeine to calories of any drink in the lineup. The stimulants it uses to round out its energy...
Surprise?
No, I'm wait.
I thought you might like to see that. You know that must have impacted you really hard if you're trying to calculate again. You okay? Thinking.
Yeah, so actually.
Oh god, here we go. Well,
So I think that's another one with basically lies on the can. Let's call it lies on a can. That's pretty much what it is, lies on a can. If I calculate it, it would actually have over 100 grams of sugar, which is obvious. So if we look on, I can't really see it because the phone's in the way. It would have 200 grams of sugar amount. It wouldn't actually have that much caffeine in it, it would just be sugar. So it would be sugar energy over caffeine energy, it would be sugar energy basically.
are you a bit surprised that it's Ghost?
Ghost is a Warheads brand, I believe. I am surprised. The reason why it's like that is because it's sugar energy, not caffeine energy. So it would generally, it could be good for you, and it could also be bad for you. It depends what kind of context you put it in. We're looking at good for you, like good for energy, or we're looking at good healthy wise?
And are L-carnitine and taurine, which we've talked about before and aren't likely to be huge contenders here. More than those, though, there are two key ingredients here that we have to call out from the energy blend that make it stand out beyond anything else. The first is alpha-glycerol-phosphorylcholine, or alpha-GPC for short. It's a chemical that's made in the body. It seems to increase levels of a key neurotransmitter in the brain called acetylcholine, basically a small molecule that's specifically responsible for memory and learning function. Though more research is needed for this, early evidence suggests that it might be able to help with certain physical and mental tasks depending on the dosage. The other compound that Ghost has that no one else can claim is called astrogen, a combination of Panax ginseng and Astragalus membranaceus. Despite all of these names sounding really synthetic and chemically, they're actually all natural. Astragalus actually might have antioxidant effects, which means that it may be able to protect your cells from stress and could boost your immune system. Unlike all the other brands' ingredients that we've talked about today, Ghost's key ingredients here have fairly sound research behind them, and they're not just things that we produce naturally that we don't really need more of, like taurine and L-carnitine. The last thing that I gotta call out about Ghost is the type of caffeine that's being used. Unlike all the others that fail to mention where they derive their caffeine from, usually meaning it's synthetically created using a chemical synthesis of ammonia, a gross and stinky process that we'll probably save for another day, Ghost specifies that the caffeine is from coffee beans. Why does that make a difference? Well, synthetic caffeine is more potent and more quickly absorbed by the body, whereas natural caffeine is absorbed slower, which means a less sudden spike in energy, and also a less dramatic crash than the synthetic kinds. Now, you'll likely still experience some sort of a crash, but it won't be as bad. And interestingly enough, this exact prediction played out when it came to our team's experience taking Ghost as their primary energy source for the day. They got a lot of energy, it was sustained over several hours, and though they did eventually crash, the crash wasn't nearly as bad as any of the other beverages, especially when you look at it compared to Prime and Red Bull. So, at the end of the day, when it comes to energy drinks,
because it was a sugar crash, not caffeine.
Yeah.
what are you gonna go for at the store? Well, if there's one thing we can definitely say, it's that we'll be breezing straight past the Red Bull and Gatorade and then making the hard choice between taste, with either Monster or Prime, and effectiveness, the clear winner there being Ghost. At the end of the day, it just depends on what your real purpose is for drinking that energy drink. Are you sipping on the can because you like the flavor and you just want the added bonus of getting a little extra buzzy boost? If that's the case, then yeah, go for either Prime or Monster. They do taste the best. Just make sure that you're going in eyes open with that Prime. Know that it's not delivering on all the health components that it promotes. It's just caffeinated juice from concentrate. On the other end of the spectrum, if you're more serious about the energy side of your energy drink and you don't mind slurping down a liquefied Sour Patch Kid in exchange for an entire afternoon of energy, then you're headed straight for the Ghost, which is gonna make you look like a fourth grader at your job, and it's not exactly the most sippable choice, but bizarrely, it's the option for those who truly care about their energy blend. So, while yes, the Prime drinkers might end up laughing at you for your juvenile choice, you're gonna be the last one standing as your coworkers and classmates start stumbling around like zombies at 3:30. But regardless of your choice, now you know what you're drinking and why you're drinking it. So get out there and start chugging. Or not, you know, we could all stand to drink just a little bit more water. All of these things, regardless of the relative level of health and caffeine and all that, all of them are probably doing just awful stuff for our systems. We are over-caffeinating ourselves to the max. Meanwhile, when it comes to drinking battery acid, I'll just be over here drinking my Diet Coke. Thanks. I've literally had enough energy drinks to last a lifetime, and I never want to see one of these things ever again. Don't you dare ask me for a sequel, by the way, because I recognize that we didn't test out Rockstar. Or, you know what, if enough of you do leave comments down below, yeah, gotta admit, it was kind of fun to be able to see through the particles of the universe for a little bit. I ascended and touched the gods. As always, my friends, remember, it's all just a theory. A food theory. Bottoms up.
Well, we finally did it. We sat through the whole video. How are you feeling? Is your brain hurting yet?
No, not really. I feel like all of this is pretty simple logic.
So, after going through that video...
My brain hurts from trying to explain something in actual English.
Yeah, I understand. So, let's think about this. In the first Prime video, obviously we didn't film that part, but when we did watch it together, and your conclusion on that one, the hydration one, what was it again? That you called him stupid?
Yeah, because simply enough, he is.
Poor man. Go on,
He's definitely stupid.
Yeah, make a brief explanation to the hydration one, real quick.
Okay, so it was almost kind of like, basically done all the math the opposite way around.
Yeah.
Somebody was meant to add these things together, he, took them away. That was basically it. The answer should have been complete opposite.
What about this video? Now that we've sat through the whole thing, what's your outtake? Is that the right word? Outtake on it?
Kind of.
You know what I mean? What's your thought about it?
Overall kind of thought.
Yeah, conclusion. That's a good one.
The answers are, so the Warheads brand one would be second, and Monster would be third, and Prime would be on top.
Are you just saying actually like Prime?
No, because the Prime is, I did the math, and the Prime actually has all natural ingredients, meaning that it's a lot healthier and just be kind of like sugar energy rather than caffeine energy, which all the others are caffeine, so I don't really see how that's fair. Because that's coming from sugar energy, not so much caffeine energy like the rest of the drinks.
Right. So that was the video. I can't believe we sat through that together. It's technically George's video. You got any parting words?
Besides that, all these theory channels basically.
Oh, what, like game
theory,
film theory,
yeah, all that kind of
food
stuff.
theory,
All of
style
them-
theory,
All of
style.
them, obviously I haven't watched all of the videos to ever exist
No,
on
but
any of the channels.
no, but you know about.
Yeah.
You know about them all.
So they have some correct facts if you dig deep into the information.
I do agree with that point.
But
There's a but. I
it's
agree.
not exact unless you really dig deep. And not to
Or
mention the fact that, in a way, they're not. They said so. Prime is caffeinated, right? It gives you energy because it's got caffeine in it. Whereas the Warheads brand has the Warheads brand is instead more of a sugar kind of, gives you energy with sugar over caffeine. So that isn't really fair. And not to mention the flavour changes, which happened in the hydration and this one. That doesn't make it fair because obviously different flavours taste different because that's the point of flavour.
That's right.
So I'll say if you dig deep into the information, then there's very little right points. There are many wrong and generally the answer will be the complete opposite. Obviously, if I had done the math exactly, like sat here for an hour writing down all the calculations. So I just did a rough one. I forgot all the decimals and stuff like that because I was not in part with that. I just kind of did a rough idea. So the one thing I didn't want to get involved with was decimals, so I didn't bother with that.
Fair.
Can't blame me. I didn't want to get involved with that, so because it was just gonna be a waste of time. So if you do the calculations correctly, then you should get pretty much every time I've watched one of these videos, I've got the complete opposite answer. So.
All right. With that being said, we're going to end the video. Finally, this is going to be the longest react video I've ever edited, and again, it may as well be George's, but it's going to go on my channel anyway, so screw it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a while since we had the little ferret on the channel. Not that we like her or nothing. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. See ya.
Bye.